All right, guys, welcome into the Kodiak Broncos podcast. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about Emeka Egbuka and why I think he would be Bo Nix's best friend almost immediately if he were to get drafted by the Broncos. But before we get into it, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You always wait until the end. Hopefully, I've earned it. We're going to do some film today. I will put the timestamp on the screen if you just want to skip straight to the film. So, yeah. Regardless, now it's time to talk about Emeka Egbuka. Follow me on Twitter if you like what I have to say on here, at Kodiak Broncos. Let's dive right into it. So, talking about Emeka Egbuka, the profile is very impressive because I've heard nothing but great things about his character. The production profile is great. Really liked what I saw in film. So, talking about him specifically, when he was coming into college football, five-star recruit from Statistical, Washington. He was actually the ninth highest overall recruit in the 2021 recruiting class, and he was the first wide receiver in that class as well. He finished as Ohio State's leader in receptions, 205, and receiving yards, 2,868. Now, what's really impressive is that he did this playing alongside some incredible names at OSU. He played alongside Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Jeremiah Smith. And while Egbuka was never the number one in the offense, those guys were so good. But Egbuka earned his as well. He did a great job managing to get the trust of the Ohio State coaching staff. Like they all said, they don't win the national championship without him. Ryan Day in particular had some glowing things to say about him. And Emeka Egbuka's football IQ plus blocking ability are the skills that this organization, our Denver Broncos, will absolutely fall in love with. Like I can imagine Sean Payton salivating over Emeka Egbuka film, when it comes to their pre-draft meetings at Dove Valley or whatever. But talking about where he's going to go, our pick at 20 is the earliest he's commonly mocked. Like, there's not a lot of teams that it makes sense in the, mid-teens who I think going wide receiver would make sense for. But the four teams I see him mocked to the most, actually the five, I didn't put them on here, but the Rams, the Broncos, the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Texans. So we're in prime territory for Egbuka. We probably wouldn't have to make a move to go up and get him or anything like that. And a lot of people are going to be really mad about my comps for Egbuka, but hear me out. A lot of people compare him to Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jackson Smith-Njigba. I feel like that's pretty lofty, even to compare him stylistically to those guys, because even Amon-Ra St. Brown just has freakish strength, and that's how he's able to operate as the number one wide receiver in the Lions offense, even if he's not a boundary guy. Like, I just don't really want to compare Egbuka to that guy yet, because Amon-Ra has just freakish play strength. I know a lot of people compare him to Ladd McConkey. I see a lot of people compare him to Jackson Smith-Njigba. My comps aren't any of that. My comps are Keenan Allen, Robert Woods, and Khalil Shakir, where these guys had a tendency throughout their careers to do the dirty work, and this is not a bad range of outcomes for Emeka Egbuka. Actually, it's not even a range of outcomes. It's just who I think he plays like most. And so overall, these are my thoughts about Egbuka. So what would Emeka Egbuka add to our offense immediately that would make him Bo Nix's best friend? Well, the intermediate passing game would instantly become a strength after being non-existent. Well, you have Emeka Egbuka as well as Evan Ingram attacking the middle of the field, and that's not even including the running back that we are going to draft as well. I do think Emeka Egbuka is best suited as a complement to teams with a true outside X, like a guy such as Cortland Sutton, like we have on our team right now, a guy like Michael Pittman, and a dude like that. I think he'd do really well with Pittsburgh too, even though they don't really have a wide receiver need anymore. But if they decide to go with Pickens, if they decide to go with DK Metcalf and Emeka Egbuka, that would be a very, very hard trio of wide receivers to stop as well. One of the things I really like about him is he has an ability to win consistently versus zone and man with a high football IQ. Like, he is just able to absolutely dust corners, not because he is the most physically toolsy guy. Don't get me wrong, he is plenty athletic. But he is able to do really, really well because he knows where he is on the field at all times. He just does a lot of really, really nice things where he just finds the soft spots within the defense. And it's really, really impressive because he just makes it look so easy when he's going about his business and just running routes out there. So multiple Ohio State coaches and NFL GMs have already raved about his character at the Combine. I already told you that multiple Ohio State coaches have said that they don't win the national championship without Emeka Egbuka. But if you had asked any NFL GM who had the best Combine interview, pretty much most of them, according to Peter Schrager, would have said Emeka Egbuka. And, when you get people that are, great football players on on the field, and then you get great characters off the field. I feel like that's been such a huge part of our turnaround is we get guys who love football. We get great guys in the locker room. Our locker room is clearly super tight knit, and yeah. And by the way, Sean Payton operates under a strict policy, a very, very strict policy. Why did little Jordan Humphrey get the second most snaps in our wide receiver room last year? It's not because he was some crazy dynamic dude, even though he did some nice things with like screens and yak at points last year. But he operates under a strict, very, very strict, no block, no rock policy. Egbuka embodies this, and we're going to see some clips when I do jump into the film as well. That Emeka Egbuka is the poster child for no block, no rock. Great coaches like Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and Sean Payton, they operate under this policy, and I could see them all falling in love with Egbuka for this reason. So here are some key stats. So pretty much half of his first downs, or half of his targets went for first downs in Ohio State's year of 2024. I think he caught a first down on 96, or no, he had 48 first downs on 96 targets last year. So that was number one in the class, or at least he was tied for number one in the class with Jaden Higgins as well. He had a higher reception perception success rate versus zone than any of the other 2024 draft prospects. So we had 3 guys drafted in the top 10 last year in Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., or not even Brian Thomas Jr., Romo Dunze is what I meant. And we had a guy who went absolutely ham last year that was drafted at 23rd overall in Brian Thomas Jr. And guess what? Emeka Egbuka was a better zone beater than all of them, according to Matt Harmon's reception perception tracking. So he also had a 5.5% drop rate in his college football career. For context, that is third in the class, only ahead of or only behind Travis Hunter and Tedero McMillan, who were both sub 4. And then it decreased to 3.89% in his final season at Ohio State. He also had a 24.6% share of yards and touchdowns in the offense, but it's not elite, but it requires context. So Ohio State, they had a lot of really, really good dudes who commanded volume, and while he didn't get the dominator rating that a lot of other elite prospects have seen, he did plenty well. He did plenty well, and guess what? He does the dirty work. He played on the tush-push formation, like he was literally blocking in line on that formation, which was something that was incredible. So yeah, even though the production is not like crazy, it makes sense why it's not crazy. He was playing with a lot of really, really good players, not just NFL caliber players, but guys who will be first and second round picks, and guys who have already played really, really well in the NFL. So here's what film and analytic guys have to say about him. So Elite Drafters on Twitter says that Emeka Egbuka is elite analytically speaking when it comes to his yards per out run and first downs. I believe he has 2.6 yards per out run. Super predictive metric. He does really well. He's in the company of Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Malik Neighbors as far as his numbers in those categories. It's also better than Travis Hunter, Ted McMillan, and Luther Burden. So Matt Harmon tracked Emeka Egbuka, and he says that he has a 68.1% success rate versus man, 83.6% success rate versus zone, and an 81.3% success rate versus press, with a very, very strong set of hands. That being said, I've kept you guys waiting long enough. Let's jump into the film. All right, boys, what's a tale as old as time in the modern NFL? Well, no block, no rock. And you're going to see Egbuka right here do an absolutely phenomenal job at blocking on the outside. So if you notice a lot of big runs for Ohio State this past year, one of the common denominators is that Egbuka is willing to get down and dirty. So if you just watch the boundary on this play right here, you'll see Egbuka at the very end of the play, all the way out here on the left side of your screen. And just watch him absolutely drive the dude into the ground. Awesome stuff right there. So we've got gun quads. Egbuka is lined up right here. He sneaks out for the touchdown right here. Actually, I don't even know what you call this formation, but regardless. So he's right here in the slot. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. I'm trying to do my best right here since I don't have a clicker. But in the meantime, just watch him slip out. Watch him slip out. He's still fighting his way through the line of scrimmage or through the second level right here again. And then he comes wide open. So great stuff right here by Egbuka. This defender is way too late catching up to him, and then he gets the easy touchdown for the Buckeyes. Awesome stuff right here. I think he has a really good knack for finding soft spots in the defense, and especially deep. Like, he's not like a perimeter deep threat or anything like that, but we didn't really see him deploy in that role at Ohio State. So We're going to see him right here once again, if you can see my mouse right here. Fights his way through the line of scrimmage, all the way upfield for the touchdown. Great job by Emeka Egbuka right here. Third clip we got, so we've got Ohio State versus Oregon, and then Egbuka is right here, and you'll notice that the defensive back for Oregon is playing with inside leverage, and eventually you're going to see the defensive back basically realize way too late that he made a mistake playing with inside leverage on Emeka Egbuka, and Egbuka does a phenomenal job just getting to the boundary and turning around so that Will Howard can find him. Boom, delivers the ball with precision. Nice stuff right there. Again, we're going to watch it from the tight. Completely dusts the corner. Well done, Emeka Egbuka. So the fourth clip we have right here is just a nice over the middle of the field catch. Same corner we're against right here. And he's going to sell that he's running to the outside or running deep or something like that. And just so fluid out of his break. Boom. Ball. Gets some yak, picks up some nice little yardage there. Once again, over the middle of the field, I thought he did a lot of really nice things. Now as the defender and both defenders running behind him. So we've got our fifth clip right here. This is once again a really high IQ play by Emeka Egbuka. So the switch, the bait and switch basically gets Oregon right here because you'll see the corner basically come down for a blitz, and then the safety is just in no man's land. So what happens right here is that this wide receiver for the Buckeyes is basically going to run a post, and then Ibuka's going to fake like he's going to the outside. So these two guys are confused. They don't really know what's going on. But after this, after realizing that he doesn't have any help on the flat whatsoever, you're going to realize that Egbuka turns upfield for the touchdown. Great play design right there. Well executed by the entire Buckeyes team right there. You're going to see it from the tight. Well done. I wish you could see Egbuka actually run this from the tight the whole clip, but oh well. So this, our sixth clip right here, this is for all the people that want a joker in the offense. Actually not a joker, but a guy who can do a lot of things that Marvin Mims, a guy in our current role, does. He took a handful of behind the line of scrimmage handoffs this year, and nothing spectacular or fancy, but this is part of his arsenal, and we did have a tendency to run some jet sweeps to Mims, to Franklin, so yeah. This one, once again, really nice play. So I did highlight, or the film room highlighted Egbuka with the arrow right here, but he is in the right center of the screen. You can see my mouse kind of moving around towards him as well. So he does a really nice job of just beating the cornerback to the boundary. Well done. Perfectly placed ball. Watch him again on the left side of your screen. Boom. Does a great job at shielding his body from the defender right there. So then we've got Egbuka just completely running over the middle of the field. Like, there is nobody within his zip code. Like, this is pretty open, if you ask me. This is pretty open even in college standards. And with a better ball right here, Egbuka can turn this upfield, and he might legitimately have a touchdown. But unfortunately, ball gets batted down at the last second. Still a really good job by Egbuka at getting open. Once again, watch him from the slot, number 2 right here. Does an amazing job at finding the soft spot within the zone. Unfortunately, I guess this guy just makes a pretty good play on it, but yeah. Pretty fortunate for Iowa that the guy was able to find his way right here. So this one, no block, no rock. What have we been talking about the whole time? No block, no rock. And with this run by Quinshon Judkins, you're going to see Emeka Egbuka right here. And watch the top of the screen. He's basically able to get some inside and outside leverage on the same block to where Quinshon can kind of spring deep. Once again, you're going to see this from the tight right here. Basically pancakes this guy. Or not pancakes, but he did a well enough job blocking to sell that. Same thing right here. Like, you're going to try to run to the perimeter, and Egbuka is right there, sealing a nice little lane for you. So, yeah, really like his blocking ability, and this is something that Sean Payton is going to covet so heavily as well. This one, another really nice red zone play by the Ohio State Buckeyes and Emeka Egbuka right here. So he basically just finds a opening, and he's being guarded, I don't know if that's a linebacker or anything like that, but once again, he just flat out beats this guy to the ball. Like, not much else to say about that. Like, this isn't the easiest catch to make in the world, but in the back left corner of the end zone. He's able to make a really nice play on the ball and able to catch that in a tight window as well. I really like Egbuka's game in the red zone. Like, I think that's a very underrated aspect of his game. Last clip I got for you. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. All right. It might be true that Sean Payton thinks that our room is better than a lot of people think, which is what he said on the Kay Adams show. But listen, we could still upgrade it. I think because of the second half that we had, uh, mainly aided by the fact that our quarterback became an absolute freak in the second half of the year, it might be true that Sean Payton likes what he has seen. But listen, we played very, very poor. All of our skill positions played very, very poor in the first part of the year. So listen, we could still upgrade it. Even though wide receiver is not the most pressing need right now, we can still upgrade it. We can still get better. And you never know what's going to happen in the NFL because, situations are fluid. In 2022, when we traded for Russell Wilson, people were calling us a top 5 wide receiver room in the league. And guess what? Tim Patrick got hurt. Judy didn't come to fruition. Cortland Sutton couldn't coexist with Judy. So, yeah, that's all I'm saying right there. Egbuka will be the guy we go after if we target a wide receiver in the first round as well. The reason I'm in on Emeka Egbuka is because he'd give us a real chain-moving option. And quite simply, we didn't have that in 2024. And he would also be a really good dirty work player, something that Sean Payton would absolutely covet. So Emeka Egbuka would get on the field immediately. There would be no rookie leash, as we know that Sean Payton has a tendency to be rather conservative with his young players if he has the opportunity to do so. But listen, I'm still on team defensive line round 1, but Egbuka is a very intriguing prospect. Like, he is definitely on the short list of guys that I would want the Broncos to draft at 20 if we were to keep our pick. But yeah, so that basically does it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Mile High Salute.